Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Empowering Empathy. I'm Michael Walker, and this is Brian Markham.
Hello.
He is the Golden Boy, as one of our live streamers shared
Yeah,
last
thanks for
week.
that title, buddy. Appreciate that one.
Also known as the founder and chairman of Golden Technology. Last week, we talked about lessons learned and some of the things that helped Golden Technology grow from just a small startup of a couple people into what we are today. And one of the things that I know you wanted to talk about, Brian, is not just the how, but the why.
Yeah.
And the importance of the why and how that changed you and how that changed the direction of the company. So tell us, how did you come about discovering what that why was for you and for Golden?
Well, a long time ago.
Tell us.
First of all, before we get started, I always have to go off on tangents because that's
Of
what
course.
I do. But earlier on, I said our music sounded like Friends, but I take that back. Our intro music, I know it's free because we're not going to pay for it, right?
Royalty free.
Royalty
Yes.
free, but it sounds like the Office theme song. Play
Okay.
it. Go listen to it, somebody. Don't
Yeah.
until we get done.
Maybe next time we'll do an AB when I'm prepared. But
Yeah.
at the moment, I am not.
That's all right. That's all right.
I don't have a hot and button program for that over here.
And I am not as cool as what's the boss's name in the Office?
Mike?
Mike. Yes, I'm not as cool as that guy. So I've learned over the years that if you don't have a why, you're not going to be successful in business. And some whys are good and some whys aren't so good. And this goes also back to another event that I attended. It was during that period between 1.0 and Golden 2.0. And I was invited to an event called At Work on Purpose. Shout out to Chuck Proudfit, who started that up. It's a faith-based Christian kind of business leadership ministry, if you will. And this event was taking place at a place called Prasco Pharmaceutical. And this was a good solid 15 years ago or whatever it was. Prasco's over in Mason, Ohio, and I pulled up, and this campus is gorgeous. They have these beautiful stadiums, baseball stadiums up front, and you go into the building, and the restaurant, the cafeteria looks like a 50s diner in there. The auditorium it will rival any stage or theater that any place has, and I was just in awe of this organization, Prasco Pharmaceuticals. They sell generic pharmaceuticals to the industry. Tom Arrington, the founder, was the one that was kind of the guest speaker at the time, and he started talking about how his why. And he had been in the pharmaceutical industry for years. I think he started this business legit, like when he was 70 years old. He's in his, well, I don't know how old he is now, I'm not going to say, but I would say that he started late in his career with his sons, and he got into his why. And his why was the Arrington Foundation. His why was to give 10% of his income to this foundation called the Arrington Foundation. And he went into about how they were using these baseball stadiums to better the lives of the community, of the people around them, to help kids that want to come and play from different parts of Cincinnati to go play. They were donating money all over across the country. They were having all kinds of events out on their fields and so forth. And I was just in awe of this guy.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it was a neat dude. And that's what his why was. And I remember making a promise, honestly, to God at that time. I said, all right, God, if I ever get a chance to start Golden back up again, I'm gonna set up my own foundation. I'm gonna go out and get our own 501c3, and we're gonna use a portion of our time and our talent and our treasures to give back to the community that we have. So we started up Golden Community. We put a new label around it, had a logo, it's pretty. It limped along for a while. It was basically me trying to get people involved in doing serving projects and so forth.
Right.
And so now, a couple years ago, we were able to bring in a director of that division, if you will, David Vermaak, and he helped us go out and get.
Hi, David.
Hi, David. Love you, buddy. He went out and got our 501c3 done. And next thing you know, on a monthly basis, the whole team's out serving the community. We're going to homeless shelters. We're going to food banks. We're taking people with disabilities for hikes in the woods with these fancy chairs. We're working with the vets. It was just fabulous to see. We're donating money all across. We're building schools in Africa, and so what my goal is to get that number to 10% of our gross margin. To give back to the communities and to that 501c3. Right now we're sitting at about 6%. That's good. We were at 3% 3 years ago.
Right.
So every year I want to get 1% better in that contribution to where eventually we're given 10%. The idea is in 10 years, we should be giving probably about $4 million a year away into this foundation. So this year,
it's crazy awesome.
Yeah, this year, 2023, our budget's I think it's above 300 some K. That's going to go back to our community. We have given money to schools in Africa. We are doing a school with our India office through a Sikh faith-based organization. We are doing serving events throughout the city. We had our big serving event July 15th, which was really cool. But what I always said was, if you take care of the people will take care of the business. So I didn't stress about net income. I needed to pay myself and make a living, but I didn't worry about the P&L as much as probably I should have. I didn't worry about the balance sheet as much as I should have, but I was taken care of. And so if you don't have that why, and my why is to, I call it the Boy Scout rule. If we're in the Boy Scouts, when you go to a campsite, what do they say? They say, leave the campsite better than when you found it.
Right.
That is basically, I want the Boy Scout rule for my life. I want to be able to sit one day on my deathbed and say, I was a part of an organization that at least tried to make this world a little bit better than when I found it. It's a little hard right now because this world's going to hell in a handbasket. No, that's a whole other...
Making a positive impact.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what Golden Community is all about. That's where it came from. We have people write us grants, ask for money every single year. We have a grant recipient process. And so if you ever want to get involved in Golden Community, we're always looking for people to help step up and volunteer. But at the end of the day, have a why and not just a what. And if you can have a why, then life gets a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a quote from one of my favorite musicians, a guy that had quite a big impact on the globe, a guy named by the name of Bob Marley. He was once asked about, his fame and fortune, and his response was, and I quote, "The greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively."
Yep.
And I think, he's been gone now for almost 40 years. Isn't that crazy? And he still is one of the best-selling reggae artists every single year.
Right.
He's still selling albums. He's still affecting culture out there. So
that's awesome. I
money's
didn't know that.
not everything, right?
Yeah, no. And he also got me through a lot of all-nighter exam cram sessions in college.
Sure.
I can tell you I got about every Bob Marley vinyl album still at home right now.
Yep.
And my daughters are like, "What is this, Dad?" So
listen to Bob Marley again.
Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, and let me say this: this thing that we're doing here, I feel a little self-promoting sometimes, but what I can say is this has not been done perfectly in any way, shape, or form along the way.
Sure.
This has been a trial and error. This has been filled with hypocrisy at times, and at the end of the day, it's just waking up the next day going, okay, you screwed up yesterday, Brian. Let's get back on track again today. So this isn't something that I was gifted with. I had to fail a lot to make this happen. So anybody can make an impact. Anybody can have a why, and just not give up on it.
Yeah.
It's takes a long time. A lot of this gray hair. Look at this gray hair. So,
They come more and more every day.
yeah, I don't want to hear it.
That's all right.
You got the perfect beard.
I don't know about that.
I got the skunk beard right there.
Yeah, I don't know. I got these like lanes. Sean Connery had them too, but they were like the opposite. He had like dark, and then I don't know.
Can you talk like Sean Connery? Let's hear your best Sean Connery accent.
No.
No?
I can hear it in my head, but it's not going to translate.
It's not going to come out. I'll do it just out of self-deprecation face. Here we go.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So before we get on out of here, let's kind of recap things.
Yes.
If there's one takeaway from this segment, if you will, and the why is having a why one of the most important things in business?
Because you will have hard times and good times. You will have dips, and people don't buy into a what. People don't buy. I could sit there and say, like, one of our big goals is to get this thing in 10 years to $100 million. All of us sell. All of us put a lot of money in our bank accounts. Take care of the people that helped get you there. And that could be a what. That'll go so far. People are money hungry. I'm money hungry, but I don't love money. If you have something outside of that, a why, then you'll get people to buy into your dream and your passion. And it's like I work with the local schools here. We're doing a fundraiser to potentially do some remodeling of our school, and all these consulting firms come to us and like, yeah, well, we can help you generate the money for it, but where's your why? Why do you want to do this?
Yeah.
So we spent the first 6 months developing a why.
Yeah.
And so sit down. If you want to start a business, start out and say, why are you doing this? And it can't be, well, because I want to retire on Hilton Head Island in a $3 million house.
Yeah.
You can get there, but you won't be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to have a why.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's got a what, but the why is what attracts people to you and makes them want to walk your path along with you and help you, and vice versa.
Even Sean Connery had a why.
Yeah, find your vibe, find your tribe, right?
That was my best version of Sean Connery, so that was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. Hey, you know what? I don't have my button, but I was going to give you a quack, for those of you who watch the dad joke segment.
Yeah,
so.
Sean Connery.
Anywho,
that's my best one.
Yeah.
There you go.
There
you go.
So I think
I'm
that's
losing audiences by the droves right now.
I know.
Right?
We better get out of here before people just drop off altogether. Anyhow, that's been a good one for today. And folks, join us next week as we continuing on this journey of empowering empathy. We will be back next Wednesday. And thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check into us next time. But we're getting out of here, so we'll see you next time.
Oh, real quick before you. Wait, hold on. Sorry,
or not.
If you got any topics you want to question, any questions you want to ask, my goal is to bring in some other experts in our industry and philosophy and faith and everything. So if there's anything you want to hear about or talk about, feel free. I'd love to get some advice because there's only so much content in this thick brain of mine. So I'd love to hear that as well.
And I'm not quite sure when it'll happen, but if you stay tuned in, one of these episodes, 2 weeks, 6 weeks down, we might ask Brian why he's got Evel Knievel back there in the background. But that's a story for another time. So we will cut it there, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
See.